And welcome once again to the Sports Skillet live stream, emanating here from the plush but not overly ostentatious studios in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Plush, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
well, kind of. It's not overly ostentatious, but it's comfortable.
At least you're expanding your vocabulary. So I'm very happy about that, Jay.
That's always a good thing. Read the dictionary, expand your vocabulary, listen to other people, always a good thing.
Well, the key word there is listen to other people.
Exactly. So as we do, I am Jay.
where he's with a team, with a head coach that is clearly a pass-first team. That's what they want to do. And I think that they recognize that Deuce is a guy that wants to run the ball. So I guess schematically he's not really a fit for the organization. But I sure would want to keep him around because he does a really good job getting those backs ready to play week after week.
Oh, without question. The Eagles also brought back Connor Barwin, Brent Selleck, and Darren Sproles as personnel consultants. What are your thoughts on that? I love having them back in the fold.
I do too. I mean, I don't know exactly what each of them is going to do. I think Barwin really, I think Barwin really is going to be part of the front office now. They've already sent him down. He was already down at the Senior Bowl scouting. I'm sure he's going to be at the Combine scouting. I think he's going to be a voice in the personnel. I think he's going to be a voice in the draft room, which is good. I mean, he's a smart guy. He's a hard worker. Certainly knows the game. And I welcome him back. I'm glad he's back. He really has adopted Philadelphia. He really liked it here. He's not from here, and he played in other places, but for some reason this felt like home to him. And to have him back in the organization, I think it's a plus.
And the Eagles may be looking for a new backup quarterback to Carson Wentz this offseason. Cade McNown may be retiring again. Of course, Nate Sudfeld is going to be a restricted free agent. Do you think there's any juice to maybe Marcus Mariota coming in as a backup? Who do you think the Eagles may look for to be the backup to Wentz?
Well, a couple weeks ago, the name Joe Flacco was mentioned.
Yeah,
that's
from the area.
Possibility. I mean, he's a local guy, and there's no doubt that he's, the Denver's not keeping him at that salary, so he's going to be available. And that'd be fine. I mean, to be honest with you, I would probably take Flacco over Mariota. But Mariota's going to be out there. There's going to be a lot of quarterbacks out there. This is going to be an off season with a lot of quarterbacks on the market. But you look for a fit. I might lean towards Flacco. Because I think at this point in his career, he's probably not going to be. You're not looking at him as the starter. But if he has to play 2 or 3 games, he knows the game well enough and he's played enough that he can get you through that. And if something happens in a postseason game like this year, and he has to come in, look, I love Josh McCown, but Joe Flacco will give you a better chance to win that game than Josh McCown will.
Oh, definitely. What position do you think the Eagles should be looking for in free agency and in the draft?
Wide receivers and cornerbacks.
Gotcha. No safeties, do you think? Or do you think they've got that position covered? Because I know Malcolm Jenkins is looking for a new contract, too.
Yeah, he is. And I'm not sure about McLeod's status.
Yeah.
And they don't have much depth there. But that to me is another consideration. I mean, the immediate priorities are cornerbacks and wide receivers. At safety, I think they'll work the Jenkins thing out. They should. And at safety, if they don't bring McLeod back, they could possibly. I mean, Avonte Maddox has played there before and played there pretty well. So I think you could probably get by with him. But the immediate needs are you need wide receivers and corners. You need guys with speed.
Oh, definitely. The Eagles could definitely use some speed on offense. Ray, one other question I think we have for you. Or do we, Jeff?
Let me turn my mic on. Hey, Ray. So we got Ken Moskowitz is actually watching.
Okay.
And he had a quick question. Hopefully you'll understand what the question is. He's asking, who will we draft in the first round? And how active should we be as far as going after wide receivers?
Well, I think Ray just answered that. But who do you have a player in mind? Have you started looking at the draft, Ray?
Yeah, I have. I'm a big fan of Jerry Jeudy, the receiver from Alabama. I know he's not going to get to 21. So if he's your guy, and if I were the Eagles, I'd really be looking at him. You would have to think in terms of trading up and what it would cost to trade up, because I think he's certainly top 12. But I think he's a fit. I mean, he's got speed. He's a real polished route runner. Good hands. I mean, the comparisons to Julio Jones are not that far fetched. I think he's a little bit smaller, but I think he's got the same kind of skill set and a guy that can come in and play right away. And his teammate at Alabama, Ruggs, is also a really good player. Actually, a little faster, but not quite the route runner that Jeudy is. Jeudy to me looks like the more polished and the more the more plug and play kind of guy.
And he should be there when the Eagles draft, right?
No.
Oh,
no. I would be shocked if he got out of the top 15.
Gotcha.
In fact, he could wind up being top 10. I mean, I think he's. It depends on how things go at the combine. Things can kind of change there for funny reasons. But to me, he's a top 10 talent. I don't think you're going to. If you sit there at 21, you're not going to get him. You'll get somebody because it's a really good draft for receivers. But the guys to me who would be the best fits, the real speed guys, the real vertical kinds of receivers, they're going to go early.
Gotcha. And Ray, I have to ask you, I'm looking around the NFL. Is this like one of the better off seasons for grabbing a quarterback if you need one?
Oh yeah, because there's a million of them available.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be picking some guys up that right now you don't know what you're getting. I mean, I can't tell you what Marcus Mariota is right now. I don't think that Bridgewater is. I don't know where Bridgewater's going to go. A lot depends. We don't know if Drew Brees is coming back. Drew Brees is seriously thinking about quitting. In which case, I think the Saints will keep Bridgewater. So right now, there's a lot of guys without contracts. I mean, Phillip Rivers is available, but I don't know if he's exactly what you're looking for. I mean, there's a lot of names out there. Like, I don't think Brady's going anywhere. I'd be shocked if he wore another uniform. I think if he wants to play again, I think he plays in New England. I'd be very surprised to see him go somewhere else. But it's a very unusual off season in the fact that there are a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of quarterbacks with real resumes that are going to be available.
Dak Prescott's situation hasn't been resolved yet. You never know what can happen with him.
Yeah, I know. I think that I think that they're just going to franchise him if they can't work this thing out. And I'm not ruling out the fact that they could still work it out, but if they can't work this out, I think they'll just slap the tag on him.
Could there be maybe a sign and trade with Dak?
Doubt it.
No,
Doubt it.
You don't see that?
I don't see it. I mean, Jerry's really committed to him, and the guy's played well. I mean, he really has. He hasn't made a ton of money based on being a fourth-round draft pick. So this is his chance to get rich, and he wants to. Now, I don't know if I'd make him the highest-paid player in the league, which is kind of what he's talking about now. But I think he recognizes he's in a good situation in Dallas, and I think the Cowboys, they've been committed to him this far, so I don't think they're going to back out now. So it's just a matter of the dollars and cents. And if I were to guess right now, I think he's going to wind up playing under the franchise tag.
Maybe. I think for, you and I both do a little sports talk radio. Wouldn't it be absolutely phenomenal to see Brady wearing a Dallas Cowboy uniform? I mean, that would set off all kind of alarms.
Oh, it would. It would. I mean, it would certainly be on the cover of every magazine. But it doesn't. To me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for the Cowboys. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for for Brady. I don't think. I mean, Robert Kraft loves Tom Brady. I don't see him letting this happen. If Brady wants to play, he'll play in New England. And the fact of the matter is, right now, Dak Prescott's a better quarterback than Tom Brady. He just is. He's certainly going to play a lot longer than Brady. And Tom,
Yep.
Look, I love him. He's the best quarterback that ever played. But he's 43 years old, and there were times this year that he looked it. So, I don't think that's the idea that bringing Tom Brady in with his 6 Super Bowl rings. He ain't that guy anymore. So no, I think Dak Prescott's going to be under center for the Cowboys in September.
Gotcha. Ray, we want to thank you for joining us today on the Sportskeeda live stream. And Ray, once again, can you let everybody know about your event coming up this coming Tuesday? Tuesday night at the Knauer Performing Arts Center in Westchester, 6:30 p.m. It'll be a talk about the NFL. The NFL, this pay season just passed, Super Bowl just passed, and where the league is in the year 2020 and looking forward. So if you're interested in coming out, there are still some tickets available. Not a lot, but still some tickets available. Go online to Uptown Speaker Series, and you'll find the link there, and just go to the speaker column, and you can order your tickets right there. And hopefully I'll see you on Tuesday night. It'll be fun. It'll be some talk, some video, and then a Q&A at the end. Should be a lot of fun. Oh, it definitely will be. And Ray, we look forward to your 2 shows this weekend with Glenn Macnow on 94.1 WIP. And also, we can't wait to see you back on air on Eagles pre- and post-game shows. Oh, I'm looking forward to it too, Jay. Thanks. You're welcome, Ray, and I want to wish you and your wife a very happy Valentine's Day.
Well, back at you, Jay. Back at you. Enjoy.
All right, you too, Ray. Can't wait to get you back on the show again.
Okay, talk to you later.
Okay, Ray.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And, of course, that was the NFL Hall of Fame sports writer Ray Dinger, also the playwright of Tommy and Me, which Kelly and I went to with her kids this past summer. I know they're moving the venue. It's coming out from Philadelphia, going to Westchester, but I highly encourage everybody out there, if you have some time, to go out, make the trip to Westchester, see the play. It's phenomenal. And the other thing that they do, at least at the event last year, they had a raffle. They also, and this will probably, I don't want to speak for Ray, but at least for the past few years, they've had a guest panelist come on, like a Jason Stark or maybe somebody from the Eagles or a local sports writer, commentator, something like that, will be a guest panelist, so that you see the phenomenal play, you stay afterwards, you can ask them questions, you can ask the actors are there too, the guest panelist is there, you can ask Ray, the guest panelist, the actors, any questions that you may have about the play. And then afterwards, there's like a little scrum. Everybody goes up to like the guest panelist or Ray, kind of, ask them maybe you're a little shy about asking questions in a big setting or, in front of like a room full of people or whatever. So, there's usually a little bit of a scrum there where you can walk up to Ray or whatever. And ask him or the guest panelist. They alternate them for kind of each play, so you get somebody new. So, it's really a great experience. The play is well done. I can't promote it enough. I had a great time. Kelly had a great time. Her kids had a great time and everything. It was a really fun experience.
Especially if you're not a theater person. I mean, at least it's about sports, so it's something you're interested in. So, who knows? This could be the gateway.
Exactly, and it's not all about and see, they use sport, and what Ray does is, yes, he uses sports. Yes, the Eagles are in there because it's about Tommy McDonald, but it's also a play about like how the two. It's basically a play about how the two of them interacted. A young Ray going to training camp as a kid, an older Ray, as a sports writer and everything like that, trying to get, and then even a little bit older Ray, trying to get Tommy into the Hall of Fame. But it has touching moments, it has comedy in there, whatever you want, like it's in there, so you don't have, so yes, it's a play about Tommy McDonald, but you don't have to be a sports fan to enjoy it.
Right.
It's
a play on the human drama.
Yes,
basically.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
It really is. So again, I want to encourage everybody to go out to Ray's event on Tuesday, because it sounds kind of similar to the play Tommy McDonald, just without the play. So I'm sure that'll be fun Tuesday night. So I want to encourage everybody to go there. And then, of course, this summer, go out and see Tommy and Me.
Nice.
In Westchester. It could be a good night out with the family or the girlfriend or the wife or something, really good time. And even if you're single, go out and see it anyway. That's
you never know who you might meet.
Exactly. Get a couple of friends together, go out and enjoy it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I do want to take 2 seconds, Jay.
Sure.
I have to apologize. We did have some technical difficulties. So if you missed the first half of our interview with Ray, check out their website and everything. We always post everything up there. We do record the show on a separate system, so we do have it, so it's not lost forever in the bowels of time. So,
exactly.
So feel free to go back, check us out on, what is that address again, Jay?
It would be sportskillerradio.com.
Gotta plug that. So yeah, you can find everything on there.
Yeah, and we'll post, the audio of this, this live stream up on the webcast, so you can go back, you can listen to Ray, get all his good insights and information, because I always love having Ray on, and I'm glad we had him on in this format, because we're not usually, we have some time constraints, that we have to live by, but we can allow Ray a lot more time to expand upon things and to go in depth on things than we can on our live show on Fox Sports Radio 920 The Jersey.
Boom, there it is.
Yeah. This allows Ray a little bit more time because sometimes, he's compressed. But now, in this format, Ray can actually get all his thoughts out there and everything. And
We're not let it go.
Exactly. That's why I like having him on, like I said, in this format. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So right now what I'm going to do is we'll switch over. We will take a break, actually. Yep. We are going to go to break. And when we come back, maybe we'll have some XFL talk.
Ooh,
yeah. Because the XFL played last week, first games. We'll allow Jeff to let us know because I know you were looking forward to it as much as I was.
Yes, I was.
So we'll get our thoughts on the XFL. And if you want to chime in, anything that Ray said or anything like that, feel free. You can chime in on our social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Of course, have your comments here on YouTube. We get all your questions answered. If you have a different topic than the one we're talking about, feel free to put that out there as well. So, again, we want to hear from you. This is a show built on your comments, your topics, things like that. That's what we do here on the Sports Skillet. So, again, and also, if you want to get in on the conversation, you want to give us a call, we have our phone line open, 609-330-4749 if you want to give us a call. Again, that's 856-330-4749. You can give us a call or you can just type a comment and we'll respond to that. But as I say, right now what we will do is go to commercial break and then come back and talk a little XFL. Ooh.
You're listening to the Sports Skillet Radio Show, cooking up all the hot takes. Jump in and join us at 609-919-9200. Download our app at sportsskilletradio.com. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube by searching for Sports Skillet. And remember to show us some love. Like, follow, and share.
Remember the TV show Cheers, where everybody knows your name? Never been there. But every time I walk into Wildflowers restaurant on Pennington Circle, I feel at home and that I belong. Friday night, I headed over to Wildflowers, and even though it was packed, I easily found a seat at the bar and got cozy with 17 TVs. Baseball, golf, entertainment TV, you name it, including all NFL games. The bartender Dave suggested I order the Buffalo Wing Sampler, and you could tell he was a fervent fan. But reviews on Wildflowers Inn Restaurant Facebook page demanded I tried the garbage truck pizza, and Kelly had just arrived and promised to help me dig in. Then it came. Garbage truck pizza does not live up to its name because it smells amazing and it tastes even better. Freshly sliced peppers and pepperoni, garlic, mushrooms, mozzarella, and meatballs all baked on this incredibly crunchy and warm double crust to hold it all together perfectly. Heaven, especially with one of their 23 beers on tap. I'm a believer. Go to wildflowersinrestaurant.com for more info or just come in. They are conveniently located on the Pennington Circle, right near I-95. I promise you, they will welcome you warmly, feed you well, and perhaps soon even know your name.
You're listening to the Sports Skillet Radio Show, cooking up all the hot takes. Jump in and join us at 609-919-9200. Download our app at sportsskilletradio.com. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching for Sports Skillet. And remember to show us some love. Like, follow, and share.
And we are back here on the Sports Skillet live stream. Reminder, if you did miss any portion of the interview with Ray, it was phenomenal. I loved it. Always love having Ray on. We will post the audio on our website, sportsskilletradio.com, so you can go over there and download that or listen to it on our website at the shortly after the conclusion of our live stream here. So I wanted to go into the XFL a little bit because that seems to be a very hot topic among everybody because it did so well in its inaugural games last weekend. You have 2 games on Saturday, just to give everybody an update in case you want to check out the XFL, which I highly recommend you do. They have 2 games. They have 4 games every weekend. 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday.
2 o'clock and 5 o'clock.
Yes. So you can go and you can watch them, and they're either on ESPN or Fox or
ABC.
Yep.
And then another channel, I have no idea what.
So they began and their season. And Jeff, what was your takeaways from that?
Oh, my takeaway was they were phenomenal. I really thought they came out strong. It was a good start, especially the very first game. If I remember correctly, that was the DC. Oh my God, I'm thinking of the New York Guardians, but it's DC. You guys are going to Defenders. Yeah,
DC Defenders.
DC Defenders and the Dragons. I can't remember. Seattle Dragons?
Yeah.
Okay, well, at least I got half of it right. But yeah, so the very first game I thought was great. I love the new rules because these teams definitely put them into play. I mean, you got a lot of good passes, which leads to touchdowns, which is I thought was phenomenal.
I agree with you there.
You know, the one trick play that they did, 3 passes and then a touchdown pass. Oh, wow. That was, to me, like, this is what it should have been. You know, this is what you're missing from the NFL, really.
Yeah. I mean, it was good seeing the differences between the 2 leagues. The one thing is, you know, the XFL doesn't have a lot of household names associated with it. Some of the more household names are in the coaching ranks, rather than in the players, you know, on the field. But you know, the XFL did a good job. I think that the XFL has a really good place starting out the week right after the Super Bowl. So there's no gap in there for people to go and find something else to do or, you know, find something else to grab their attention. And people are still thirsty for football at this time, too.
Exactly. Like, you're still on that high from the Super Bowl. You're starting to come down. It's like, oh, there's still more. So.
Exactly. You know, so I enjoyed it. Some things I would tweak just a little bit. Like, I think if you're going to, for teams after they score a touchdown, you know, the XFL says you cannot kick an extra point. That's gone. Right. They removed that, and instead they offer you a 1, 2, or 3 point conversion. You know, moving the ball back, you know, each one. Mm-hmm. You know, the 1 point is like a 2 point conversion in the NFL, but they keep moving the football back, which I think is fine. I love that. What I would do...
It's almost like basketball. 1 point, 2 point, 3 point shots.
Yep. You know, and so you have to run an offensive play. What I would do, now that I've seen that, I love that. But what I would do is I would leave the extra point in there to kind of make it maybe put a little more strategy for the head coaches. Leave the extra point as 1 point. Move the football back a little bit, and then have the 2, 3, and I'll even say a 4 point conversion after that. So now, if you're 10 points back at the end of a game, normally people think that that's over because you got to score twice. But if you make it so that, hey, if we score a touchdown, we can get that 4 point conversion and we can tie this thing up. Even if a team is ahead by 10 points, that's still a doable scenario for the losing team to kind of come back. You know, and then during the game, you have those opportunities where, okay, we can kick the additional extra point if we want to, or we can go for 2 points, or we can go for 3 points. You know, it has that element of strategy to it as well. Yeah. You know, where you can run that offensive play and you can put some distance between you and the team that you're playing, you know, or you can run those opposing plays. You know, I like that idea. I also like the fact that when you're kicking off to the opposing team, the lines cannot move until after the receiver has touched the football. So what you see is you see the kicker kicking off, and you see the two lines just kind of freezing, and then you see the returner, whether he flubs the ball or muffs it or catches it, then you see the lines moving, and, so that takes a little bit of getting used to, but I would move them up a little bit just to give the runners a little bit more time to maneuver around, and the other thing I would take out, too, that I think is key to the game of football and add strategy is if you kick the ball out of bounds or into the end zone, the opposing team gets the ball on the 35-yard line. And I would get that rule kind of out there. I know they want more offense in there. I know they want more scoring in there, being that they're a new league in the XFL. We want to prioritize scoring and everything. But I do think that pinning your opposition deep in their end is a key strategy to football, whether it be punting or kicking off. Having a team begin their drive at the 5-yard line or 3-yard line, or that's key. Making the team actually have to drive the length of the field to get a score. That is key. I mean, so many rules are against the defense as it is. And by the way, speaking of the defense, I thought there were a lot of hard hits in the XFL last weekend.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got brand new players, so they're really pushing and really going for it. So, yeah, they're going to be, like, going at each other, I don't know, like Wolverines almost. Just they want to hurt you.
Exactly.
They want to prove themselves. It's like, I should be here. You know, this is what you get NFL for passing on me. That type of attitude,
Exactly.
That's what they're doing.
Yep. Exactly. So the overall play I thought was pretty good. It wasn't. I liked the fact that everything was clear cut when it came to going up to the replay booth. You actually heard the conversation,
and you got to see it too, not just hear it. And the fact the announcers interact with the reviewer, which I thought was really cool. I'm like, that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
that's something you normally don't see because they kind of keep that like secret almost, But you see every step of the way, like, all right, what's the call? What are you thinking? Okay, they're unsure. Like several plays, like they review them. They're so close. They're like, well, it's so close. I'm going to have to let it go. I think. I think just like.
Which is good.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be. If there's a certain amount of time you've looked over the X amount of angles from the replay, it's like, okay.
And there's a lot of angles too. If you saw his screen, if anybody that watched it, he is the main one and like an outline of all the other cameras. I love the fact he's using an Xbox controller. Like, I'm looking. I'm like, okay.
And he made the decision relatively quick too.
Yes.
Instead of taking 4 minutes, 5 minutes to, I don't know, listen to the headphones, go back and forth and
or
whatever.
A commercial break or something. It's like, boom, there it is.
Exactly. I'm like looking at it. Here it is. We're good to go.
And if he's ever confused, he turns to the guy. It's like, hey, can you check this out? Double check this. What do you think? No, yay, okay, here it is. We're done.
Yep.
Moving on.
Exactly. So that helps with the flow of the game and everything like that. I think going forward, I can see, them tweaking things in the offseason, with the XFL, because you always go back and you look at the pluses and the minuses and self-scout everything.
Yeah, just because it looks good on paper doesn't mean it's going to translate well, even though it is. But like you're saying, at the end of the season, or however they're going to call this, they're going to go back and go, okay, how can we make this better? Did this rule really work to our advantage? Did it? Is it just, should we get rid of it, change it, what?
Exactly.
So they're going to do that.
So I also think that the NFL will borrow some of these new innovations the XFL is putting out there.
Unless
maybe not all of them, but some of them.
Unless they copyrighted most of them, going, "Oh, you want to borrow our technology now?" No.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. But I see the NFL borrowing some stuff.
Maybe even taking some cues. You never know.
Yeah. Hey, the extra point isn't working too well. Should we get rid of it? Look at what the XFL is doing. The 1 foot in bounds instead of 2 feet. Now we only have to make sure 1 foot is the XFL. If you catch a ball and you have 1 foot in bounds, same as college, boom, you're good to go.
Yeah.
It's a catch. You don't need to get 2 feet in bound. You only need 1. So that's another thing that the XFL has kind of improved on, over the NFL. So I see the NFL watching intently these games with the XFL and maybe taking some stuff, maybe looking at it. Maybe we don't need 2 feet in bound. Maybe we only need 1. Look at the way the XFL is calling games. Maybe we got to do something with the officials or whatever to maybe we got to do something with the play clock, because that's the other thing the XFL is doing. They have a shorter play clock, They also allow all the players to have speakers in their helmets, so that does away with a lot of the huddling. All the players get to play instead of just 1 or 2 guys.
Yeah, you don't miss a call from the quarterback going, okay, here's what we're doing. They hear it. They don't miss anything. And even when they're in position, you're still hearing this like, all right, watch out, 29, whatever. Be careful. Oh, we need you over here. He could move wherever he needs to. So, yeah, a lot of good strategy. I like the fact that they also focus on safety too, because that's the one key thing that they went in as, how can we keep it safe? How can we make it safer, but at the same time making it more play oriented and dramatic.
Yeah, because you have all these you're gonna have all these eyeballs on the XFL, and it was especially important for them to get off to a good start last week, and now we're gonna see the carryovers over the next few weeks, as far as how many people are still paying attention to the XFL as we get into March and then late April with the championship game and everything like that. Who's still paying attention to the XFL at that point?
Exactly, And I have to give DC credit, because they are going to go down in history as the first team to win the XFL franchise first game ever. I feel bad for the Dragons because they are now officially the losers of the first
game in the XFL. Yes.
So, and I don't know about you. I'm still undecided of which team I like the most. I mean, I'm
with you on that.
I think they both do great. Or so far, all the teams that have played so far have really put their all into it. I mean, DC came out on top. Dragons, but I think they can come back. I really do.
I think so too. It's only 1 week, so you only have 1 loss, so there is time. But we'll see how they do going forward. And I'm with you. I haven't really. I guess maybe I might be leaning towards New York just because they're more local. But
well, technically, so is DC. They're about almost the same distance
from us. Yeah, very true.
But I don't know. I mean, I feel bad for Tampa Bay Vipers. I mean, they have Tampa Bay in their name. You think they would do better?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, they had 3 in their first game. 3. That means they only did that 1 play.
That 1 field goal. That's all they got.
Yeah, which is not a field goal. It's, what would you call that?
No, it's a field goal.
They call it a field goal?
Yep.
Okay. That's sad.
So we already had ticket prices start going up for the XFL, so that's a good sign.
Or is it? They should keep them down to really get fans in there faster.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see the championship going up fine because it's the championship, but I mean, keep the normal games how they should. Set a price, keep it there for the first season. Let the fans get in there and really, this is what I hate about type of franchises like that. Where, it's doing great, so let's up the money. I'm like, no, keep it the same. Next year, because if it does really well, then raise it. Don't do it the next day.
Yep. I see this come out earlier this morning. The XFL coaches were absolutely shocked at how much of their play calling was revealed on TV, but that's part of the XFL experience. You're going to hear more than what you get on an NFL broadcast. You know, the NFL keeps their play sheets kind of hidden, you know, their mouths covered and everything. With the XFL, like we've been discussing, everything is fully transparent. You hear the coaches talking to the players and everything.
Right.
So that's another big difference that some of these coaches are going to have to adjust to within the XFL.
Well, let me ask you that just because we on our side can hear these plays, can other teams hear them too if they're not watching the television?
No.
So that's where the key has to come in, and I think this is going to be very interesting to watch to see how they're going to regulate that, to find out if other teams are quote unquote cheating.
Yep.
Oh, they're going to run this play quick. Okay, I'm switching over to ESPN to watch it. You know, they got to verify that and make sure that that does not happen.
Oh, exactly, because you don't want any spillover or anything like that.
But because we can hear them, we could hear everything the coach is hearing too. So if someone goes on, all right, they're going to run this play, then they know they're cheating.
Yeah,
you know. Unless they're looking at their phones going, hey, I got this text.
Hey, I've got this text here where they're going to run, But, I mean, I love the fact that the XFL is fully transparent, and the announcers did a good job as well. They're using the same announcers as you would hear on a college or NFL broadcast, so that's another good thing to build credibility with the audience. So there wasn't any new announcers really coming in there, but
do you think they'll do a delay in the broadcast? You know, like a 30-second delay, so even if they do hear the plays, it's too late for them to react to it? Kind of like in radio?
Probably not, because then you'll hear the coach talking and the play is taking place. So that would kind of
I meant the broadcast that you're seeing it now, but it's actually 30 seconds.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you're seeing the play, but you're hearing what the coach is saying over his mic. So that kind of offsets things, because then you can't have the play-by-play or the analyst come on and say this is what's happening. That overlaps them. So you kind of got to do it in real time if you're going to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
But otherwise than that, I thought the XFL had a really good debut for them, and I'm going to enjoy watching them this season. I really am, and seeing how they keep going and getting better, and the play, and of course this was the first week, so you were expecting the play to be off a little bit, but it wasn't. The players seemed sharp and seemed able to mostly execute, unless you're one team that only scored 3 points. But outside of that, I thought they did really well.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see the next set of teams once we get them all into the rotation and just see how they do. See how much their training paid off.
Yep. So what we are going to do now is, now we talked with Ray, we talked a little bit XFL, we're going to take a trip back in time. Ooh. We are going to have my brother crack open the history books, and we are going to go to his segment, This Week in Sports History, where he cracks open the history books and takes a look at all the important events that transpired for the coming week that took place this week in sports history. As a really good hockey event that I'm sure many people will remember. A little bit while he was younger, but definitely one of the bigger events that took place in hockey that I'm sure you guys will all remember. So we are going to go now to This Week in Sports History, if I can get the mouse to work.
You can do it.
We have the technology. We do, if the electronic equipment will cooperate with me.
So it's not just me, though. Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Welcome to This Week in Sports History, sponsored by Wildflowers Restaurant. I am Jeff Sellner. Let's dive right into the history books. On February 18th in 1951, New York City District Attorney Frank Hogan arrested 7 men on charges of conspiring to fix games. Those taken into custody included the 3 stars of City College of New York's 5 that won both the NIT and NCAA tournaments. The police set up a sting operation, and the players were arrested in Penn Station when the players returned to New York after defeating Temple 95-71. In all, 32 players from 7 colleges admitted to taking bribes between 1947 and 1950 to fix 86 games in 17 states. The scandal became known as the CCNY point shaving scandal. On February 19th in 1942, with the United States having entered World War II just 2 months before, the Yankees announced that 5,000 uniformed soldiers would be admitted free of charge to home games. On February 20th in 1953, the U.S. Court of Appeals ruled that organized baseball is a sport, not a business, affirming the 1922 Supreme Court ruling that organized baseball did not violate antitrust laws as alleged by the Baltimore franchise of the defunct Federal League. On February 21st in 1992, Christy Yamaguchi became the first female U.S. figure skater to win the Olympic gold medal in the ladies single competition since Dorothy Hamill in 1976. Yamaguchi focused on her artistry and her triple-triple combinations in hopes of becoming a more well-rounded skater than her competitors, including Tonya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan. Kerrigan took home the bronze medal that year. On February 22nd in 1980, the U.S. Olympic hockey team defeated the Soviet Union 4-3 in the semifinals of the 13th Winter Games in Lake Placid, New York. This was one of the greatest upsets in sports history, as the veteran Soviet team came into the 1980 Games having won 4 consecutive Olympic gold medals. The U.S. team was comprised mostly of collegiate players and not expected to advance beyond group play. The game was dubbed the Miracle on Ice. The win captured the hearts of Americans during the Cold War, even though it would be a win against Finland that captured the gold medal. On February 23rd in 1985, Indiana basketball coach Bobby Knight threw a chair onto the court in a game Indiana would lose to Purdue 72-63. After 3 quick fouls were called against Indiana early in the game, Knight lost his temper and grabbed and threw a chair, which went flying across the floor toward a group of students sitting at ground level. The incident led to a 1-game suspension and 2 years probation from the Big Ten. On February 24th in 1982, Wayne Gretzky, then playing for the Edmonton Oilers, scored his 77th goal this season, breaking Phil Esposito's record of 76 goals set in the 70-71 season. Gretzky would score 2 more goals in a 6-3 win over Buffalo, giving him a hat trick on this historic night. Gretzky went on to score 92 goals that season. Thank you for listening to This Week in Sports History, sponsored by Wildflowers Restaurant. I am Jeff Sellner.
And we are back here on the Sports Skillet live stream as we are enjoying some Thin Mints from Jeff Scott. Yeah, so it is Girl Scout.
They're Girl Scout cookies, not just for me. So
okay.
It's Girl Scout month. Support your local. What do they call them? Tribe, whatever, troop. I don't know. I haven't been in Boy Scouts for years, so I don't know what they call them anymore. Yeah, check them out.
I think they call them troops.
Troops. Sure.
And we got Alex Secchia sitting in with us as well now.
What's up, everybody?
So, as we do each and every week, we are going to bring in our awesome contributor, Mike Nebbia, to join us on the conversation. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, unless you count the Mets bungling the sale.
I do count that. So, so we had a short segment with you last week. I wanted to give you a little bit more time this week to talk about the lack of a sale now that the Mets will have with the sale falling through. What were your thoughts on that, Mike?
The Wilpons screwed it up at the last minute like they normally do. But what was I expecting? They are perennial shysters, they are con artists, and they are all-around jerks. They're unfit to own a Major League Baseball team. It is time for them to throw in the towel and just give up the ghost. They are not New York material. They're running things like a Tampa Bay. They're running things like, I don't know, Seattle. Small market teams. They're running like a small market when they're in a big New York market. It makes me so mad sometimes. I want to rip my hair out.
Oh, I can certainly imagine. I mean, they were in the final stages, or so we thought, of finalizing the deal with Steve Cohen, the billionaire hedge fund guy. And all of a sudden, things broke down. Apparently the Wilpons wanted to either extend their running of the team past the 5 years, or just wanted to stay on indefinitely, something like that. And, if that's the case, I don't blame the hedge fund owner, Steve Cohen, for backing out, because if I'm laying out that amount of money to buy the New York Mets, or any team for that matter, I'm going to put the people in place to run the team that I want to put in place. I'm not, if I like you and I think you're doing a good job, fine. But I'm not going to be contractually obligated to keep you in there. I'm going to make the best decisions that I want for the team. So if I want you as COO or CFO, whatever, general manager, whatever, and I think you're doing a good job, that's fine. If I want to keep Brody Van Wagenen as my GM, that's fine. But that's got to be my call. You do not make that call. I have the final say if I'm shelling out that amount of money. And apparently that's what went down between the Wilpons and Steve Cohen.
Yeah, the Wilpons, I don't know what their thought process was, but the Wilpons totally screwed over Steve Cohen. They screwed over Einhorn in 2011.
Yep.
Who knows who they're going to screw over next before they finally sell the New York Mets? Oh, my God. When I got the news, I simply had to play This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things by Taylor Swift, because the Mets simply can't have nice things while the Wilpons are in charge.
Apparently so. And this is a frightening thing for the Mets, because now you look at it, you had that bright future with Steve Cohen, and he's going to be injecting money, and who knows what free agents he may be able to entice to come to the Mets. Now, who knows how long it will be before the Wilpons sell the team, which will impact the current players on the team, because, like I always say, the Wilpons aren't going to get into a bidding war. That's why Zach Wheeler's on the Phillies. So any current good player that's on the Mets, you could have Cespedes coming back this year, having an all-star season, smacking 40 home runs, and that at the end of that season, he's walking. That the Mets will have no chance to re-sign him. He's out the door. He's gone, because the Wilpons will not get into a bidding war. They won't pay for good talent to remain on the team. So any of these guys, Syndergaard or, whoever you want to throw out there, who's currently on the Mets, when their contract comes up, they're walking out the door. They're going to another team. The Mets are going to be that feeder team. And that, and that's disappointing for the Mets, for the Mets faithful out there.
It is disappointing. And what we need now is a new owner. Once we have that new owner, hopefully this season, if we get that new owner this season, we can then focus on extending Syndergaard. Hopefully extend Cespedes for 1 or 2 more years, then extend the rest of this pitching staff that we have, because the pitching staff that we have this season is going to be good.
Oh, yeah. I think the Mets have a really good pitching staff this season. Hopefully, the Mets have now contracted a firm to go out and search for potential buyers, but that's going to be a difficult thing, as anybody who has like $1 billion is either going to have to be passionate about the Mets, and they had that guy in Steve Cohen. They had the Mets
from the Long Island area. Major Mets fan. Has been a Mets fan since the team came to New York in the '60s. I cannot believe they bungled this.
I can't believe they bungled it too, because you had that passionate Mets fan that the Mets faithful could get behind, but now you drove him off. You drove off another potential buyer before him. So now if I'm a billionaire, because that's what it's going to take to buy the Mets, it's going to take a few $100 million. I have to get hold of the Mets as soon as I can. There's not going to be, if I'm throwing out $1 billion, it's not going to be like a waiting thing. It's going to be like, okay, you're out of there as soon as possible. And there's not going to be a 5-year thing. And you got to lock them in. There's like, okay, we're signing the contracts. Here it is. You have no way out of it. These are the terms, and not allow the Wilpons any wiggle room, because apparently that's what happened with Steve Cohen. And, or at least, that it was just in the talking stages. And then when it got to actually putting pen to paper, that's where things went south. So that's what a potential buyer would have to do. But you had, the ultimate owner for the New York Mets. Now, who knows what type of owner you're going to get? You could get these guys that look at the Mets as just like a, something in their portfolio, something nice and shiny. Oh, something to brag about, but is similar to the Wilpons, not put a whole lot of money into it. Just have it as a place where they can entertain their family, their friends, their clients. That could be the type of owner that the Mets get, and they're still in the same process. Not going out there and signing anybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of with this firm they hired. Guess who works at the firm? Another stinking Wilpon.
Yeah, but he's just an analyst, Mike. I don't think he's going to have a lot. The sway that I think he had was getting this firm noticed and possibly getting the firm the contract to go out and do the search, because he's on the forefront of the Wilpons. The Wilpons are familiar with the company. So I think, having him as an analyst working for the company, it's like, okay, we're familiar with them. Let's have them do the search. But I really don't think he's going to have any influence as to who is ultimately selected, because he's only an analyst at the firm. He's not really a bigwig or anything like that.
Here's hoping you're right, because I am sick and tired of the Wilpons mucking things up for my New York Mets. I want my team to compete, and I want my team to compete now.
And I think they will this year, because they kind of got the team set up already. So I think they can compete, and they may very well compete. The one thing I worry about with the Mets this year is if the Mets, the Phillies, the Nationals, the Braves are kind of jumbled up there at the trade deadline in July. I kind of, and they're all within maybe a couple of games of each other. And it's a really close race for maybe not only the division, but maybe the wild card as well. Well, now you have the Wilpons, and they're probably not going to go out and trade for anybody of significance.
They're probably just going to trade someone away for a farm system reload and screw us over again.
Yeah, that's the Wilpons. Yeah, that's what, because you'll see the Phillies, they may go out and grab somebody, or Atlanta may go out and trade for somebody to kind of put them over the top. You see all these trades being made, especially now when you don't have that waiver deadline anymore. It's the end of July, and that's it for trades being made in Major League Baseball. I just can't see with the Wilpons still owning the team. I just can't see them going out there and getting that significant bat that they can put in the lineup, or pitcher maybe if that's what they need, be it a reliever or a starter, who knows. But a lot of teams will go out and get that extra player or two to put them over the top, and unless the salaries kind of balance out, I just don't see it.
Yeah, they did go out and grab Cespedes in 2015, but that was about it for significant acquisitions at the deadline. Of course, I remember the night Wilmer Flores was in tears when he thought he was getting traded. That did not happen, of course.
And speaking of the Mets, there's been apparently a little back and forth going on between Zach Wheeler, the new starter on the Phillies, and his former GM, Brodie Van Wagenen. Wheeler said that he wasn't surprised that he never heard from the Mets during free agency. His quote was, "Because it's them, that's how they roll." And then Van Wagenen came back, said that he was surprised and disappointed to hear Wheeler's comments to the person. Brodie Van Wagenen's comments was, "The Mets helped him parlay 2 good half seasons over the last 5 years into a $118 million contract. I'm proud of what our group was able to help him accomplish. I'm happy that he was rewarded for it." So a little back and forth between the two of them. Brodie Van Wagenen sticking up for the Mets, and Wheeler kind of taking a jab at him. If you read between the lines, saying the Mets are a little cheap, which is what we were saying about the Wilpons. So what are your thoughts about the back and forth between the two of them?
I think this is going to set up a good season series between the Mets and the Phillies. I don't agree with Wheeler's comments. I think they were taken a little too far. Same goes for Van Wagenen, saying that the Mets did have an offer on the table. If they did, I did not read about it.
Yep.
But both sets of comments were taken, not just out of context, but taken a little too far. So that's where I stand on all this.
Gotcha. And, of course, the Mets are pitchers and catchers have reported. So what are your thoughts as we head into the beginning of spring training with the Mets pitching staff and catchers?
Pitching staff is looking good, especially their relievers for once. And I'm just shocked at the song that DeGrom warmed up to. He warmed up to "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift, so I was freaking out there.
Really? You wanted him to warm up to a different song, you think? Or what do you think?
I was freaking out, but in a good way.
Oh, okay.
I said the third Cy Young in DeGrom's future.
He could. I mean, that's going to be an interesting thing to follow all season. To see if he can get his third Cy Young. A lot of time voters, if it's close between two pitchers, they may go with the one who hasn't gotten the Cy Young yet. But that'll be fascinating to watch because certainly he has the ability to go out there and earn another Cy Young.
He has the ability. It's just a matter of, can his offense provide run support? Can his bullpen save games for him? Because a lot of times in these past 2 seasons, Jacob is left with a lead and the bullpen just flat out blows it.
Yep, this is true. Well, maybe their bullpen should be a little bit better this season.
Hopefully it will be. Familia's lost about 30 pounds, and of course they do have Dylan Betances, pilfered from the crosstown rival New York Yankees.
Yep.
And Edwin Diaz is looking better. Hopefully he gets back to 2018 form where he saved 50 games.
Yep.
Mariners.
Yep. That could be a pretty potent back end of the bullpen if these guys pitch up to their capabilities.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
could be a pretty powerful bullpen with the Tonses as the seventh inning guy, Familia in the eighth, and Diaz to wrap up the game.
Yeah.
You could just rotate them out every game. Have Familia be the ninth inning guy one game, have the Tonses be the ninth inning guy one game, Diaz be the ninth inning guy one game, so that no reliever of the three gets overused. You could have, Seth Lugo be the ninth inning guy one game.
Yeah, this is true. And Mike, were you able to catch any of the XFL last weekend?
I was not, believe it or not. I was not able to catch any of the XFL. So I'm not sure where I stand on the XFL, but I do like what they have done. They've taken a page from arena football with the running play clock, with the running game clock and the shorter play clock.
Uh-huh.
And I was listening to your piece with Jeff Scott earlier about the 1, 2, 3, and 4 point conversion.
Yep.
I think it's a good idea in theory, but they should have also kept the extra point.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Get a little bit more strategy into the game.
Get a bit more strategy into the game, and I'm not sure what they're going to do with overtime, but I've had this idea that if they're still tied after overtime, that they do a field goal shootout, kind of like what the NHL is doing.
I have to look into that because I know they have some rules set up as to working overtime. That's also different from the XFL. So I'll go into that probably on the next show. But I know they have some rules already set up for it that are also different from the NFL. But I think they hit the ground running. It's a good product. I'm looking forward to this week's games with them. I know NASCAR is going to be starting up soon, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, first race of the season is Sunday, the Daytona 500.
Any predictions for that?
Well, they have an interesting way of setting up the field.
Okay.
It's in a very complicated way. Front row is determined by qualifying. Those are the only two positions locked in by qualifying the week before the 500. Then they have a set of 250-mile qualifying races set the rest of the field.
Okay.
So, yeah, it gets confusing. But anyway, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Alex Bowman are on the front row for Sunday's Daytona 500. And it's a restrictor play track, so anything can and more than likely will happen. And I'm going to go with an underdog winner here.
Okay.
Chris Buescher from Roush Fenway Racing.
Say that name again?
Chris Buescher.
Ah, really? Now,
I'm going with an underdog here.
Now, what makes him the underdog in this race?
What makes him the underdog?
Yes.
Roush Fenway hasn't been performing since, 2012. So they are desperate for a breakout season, and I think young Chris Buescher from Prosper, Texas, he's going to be the guy that puts Roush Fenway Racing back on the map.
Interesting pick. Not going with any of the favorites. Interesting, Mike.
It's Daytona. Anyone can win with the restrictor plate in play.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. At Daytona and Talladega, they run these carburetor restrictor plates that restrict airflow to the car. It cuts horsepower down from around 800 to about 750. Takes them a full lap, maybe a lap and a half to get up to speed. So with the restrictor plates in play, you're going to be seeing a lot of pack racing, a lot of drafting, and with those in play, should be a real interesting race and should make for an underdog winner.
And does this race, for everybody out there, does this race have a lot of crashes normally associated with it, or is this more of a clean race?
It's a crash fest, considering the size of the track and the restrictor plate factor.
Gotcha. So we have your prediction for Sunday, and that will be, I believe, on ABC or Fox, do you think?
Fox. Fox has the first half of the season, then NBC takes over in the summer.
That's it. Yep. All right, Mike, loved having you on. I can't wait to talk to you again next week. Enjoy the race on Sunday, and hopefully soon the Mets have a new owner.
I'm hoping the Mets will have a new owner, hopefully by my birthday in June.
Hopefully it goes that fast.
That would make a great 26th birthday present.
Yeah, we got to have a party for you, Mike.
That would be excellent. June 20th, I turn 26.
Awesome. All right, Mike, we will talk to you again next week. Have a great week. All the best to you and your family.
Thanks, Jay. And before I head off, I want to wish a happy Valentine's Day to not just my mom, but to all my female friends out there that may be watching. So, happy Valentine's Day. And I will see you next Friday.
Awesome. Happy Valentine's Day to your mom as well, Mike.
Thanks, Jay. Later.
All right. And, of course, that was our awesome contributor, Mike Nevia, discussing some NASCAR. Like I said, we discuss it all here on the Sports Skillet live stream. You know, from the XFL to the NBA to baseball, the football, we discuss it all. And if you miss any portion of the show, we're going to have the audio posted to our website, sportsskilletradio.com. You can also go back and listen to a portion of the show. I'll try to get that. I'll try to get the full audio up on our live stream, feed.
Yeah.
I'll work on getting it, getting the full audio up there. So we had some technical difficulties earlier in the show. Also, speaking of, we were talking about the Mets. Phillies have been having their media sessions. Joe Girardi had his. Matt Klentak had his. Now, apparently today, Andy McPhail had his media availability. So, one of the things that was tweeted out that Andy McPhail said that he's hoping the Phillies will go over the luxury tax this season. That would mean the team is doing well and would want to make a trade during the season. There was a nice little pitcher, Kenta Maeda, that was out there. He went in a trade this past week. I would have enjoyed the Phillies jumping in on that when that trade had some difficulties. Klentak might have jumped in on that and grabbed Kenta Maeda. He would have looked good as a number 3 starter on the Phillies, but of course, Klentak did not do that. Phillies are also rumored to maybe, possibly, not really, who knows, be in the midst for the Cubs third baseman. I'm not sure that's going to come about. You also have the Rockies in there talking to them, flip-flopping third baseman. He's a guy I think would look good in a Phillies uniform. Of course, from the Cubs' perspective, you'd have to give up probably at least 1 or 2 of the Phillies' top prospects in order to acquire him. Phillies probably want to see how things play out before making that deal. But by the time they see how things are going, he may be gone. So, no doubt the Cubs want to move on and are looking for a suitor. That might be something for the Phillies to go over the salary cap, but apparently they are fine with the team that they currently are bringing into spring training. I think they're probably a bat shy and probably definitely a starting pitcher shy, really doing some damage. They're also focusing in on some of these guys from last season, like Sir Anthony Dominguez, Tommy Hunter, who were hurt last year, coming back to full health and being solid contributors for them out of the bullpen. Again, that's a lot to roll on, and some other guys that they bought low on and are bringing to spring training, signing them to minor league contracts with an invite to spring training. Teams always do that. So they're banking on some of these guys, maybe one or two of these guys, panning out for them. You're also going to have either Nick Pivetta or Vince Velasquez going to the bullpen as a multi-inning pitcher. This is also a year which could be interesting on how Girardi's going to use some of these guys, because remember too that this is the year that the bullpen pitchers you're going to have an expanded roster. You're going to have 26 players, but you're going to be limited to the amount of pitchers you can carry on the other, as well as only being as when you bring a reliever into the game, he's going to have to pitch to at least 3 batters unless he ends the inning. So for example, if you had one of these lefty specialists, they will call them, and the Phillies have had their share on their team over the past few years. So you had this lefty specialist, and you have 2 outs, and you want to bring him into the game. You're fine to do that, but if he walks a batter, or if he allows that batter to get a base hit, or there's an error, or what have you, and the inning continues, now all of a sudden this guy has to pitch the 2 more batters. So that's a consideration about when you bring in a reliever and what relievers you have comprising your roster. I don't think that you can go with these specialists anymore. You have to have these guys on your roster that can pitch to more than 1 batter. So the specialists are kind of going the way of the dinosaur, because, I want to know that, yes, he can get this 1 batter out, and he may be better versus this handed batter versus that handed batter, but you better be able to get the 2 guys out behind him, because if not, you could be in some significant problems, and who knows, it may cost some teams some games this year. So it was interesting that Andy McPhail said that, he wouldn't mind the Phillies going over the luxury tax, because that's all we've been hearing recently, is that the Phillies aren't doing this and that, or they didn't go after this player or that player because they wanted to keep their payroll below the luxury tax. But here you see Andy McPhail saying, hey, if it's, if it helps us and, and it helps us to win some games and it makes us a better team, we'll go over the luxury tax. Kevin Cooney had an interesting tweet, and his hunch is that Middleton doesn't exactly have total faith in Clintack and McPhail regime, and figures he's given them plenty of payroll to win, but draws a line to avoid repeating tax status if this bombs again. So again, that's another way of looking at it too. Because if this bombs, they brought in the manager. I mean, he let Clintack and McPhail have their say as to what manager they wanted to bring in initially. And Gabe Kapler is currently managing for the San Francisco Giants. So they got rid of him after 2 failed seasons, frustratingly failed seasons, because they should not have lost. If you've been hearing me on this live stream or on our show, for the past 2 seasons, I've been wanting the Phillies thrown into the Gowanus Canal. They've been frustrating me that much and been playing that bad late in the season. And this past season, it got even worse. They bombed sooner. So from like June on, you had no reason to really watch the Phillies. So, so now they got their good manager in there with a solid coaching staff. And if this bombs, it will definitely be on Clintack and McPhail, because like Kevin Cooney said, he's certainly given them enough money. They spent for Bryce Harper. They've been they brought in probably the best catcher in baseball. They've brought in one of the best, two of the best players, clubhouse wise. They brought in they brought in one of the better shortstops in baseball. So
Didi Gregorius.
Didi
I was waiting for his
Gregorius,
name.
yes.
I love him.
See, and Didi Gregorius is one of the better clubhouse guys. I mean, he had a rocky season last year because he was trying to come back.
He was injured.
Yeah, he was injured. Then he played like the last month of the season,
He finished strong.
Finished okay, So Phillies went out, got him. So the clubhouse is going to be improved. So, it's not been a lack of money that, Middleton has not given them. Unlike, we had Mike on a few minutes ago, unlike the ownership of the New York Mets, they don't have the money, and what money they do have, they kind of refuse to spend it. So it's not that case with John Middleton. He will spend the money. You can argue about how he's spending it and the type of player that he's spending it on. Maybe he should have spent more money upgrading the pitching staff with another pitcher or the bullpen. But yeah, that could be a situation where if you're John Middleton, maybe you don't want this regime going over the luxury tax until they show him that they're worthy of going over the luxury tax, that they put a solid team together so that he doesn't get slammed with it. Because if the Phillies don't win this year, then it is definitely on Clintack, and it is definitely on them, on that front office, Clintack and McPhail, for not getting the job done. Because, he's given them whatever they needed, So I'm telling you, it's an interesting situation there that's going on now. People are saying maybe the Phillies are a pitcher short in the rotation. We're going to have to wait and see on that. But I think they have put together a decent offense. They have some guys battling for a couple of bench jobs because the starting 9 has pretty much already been decided. So there's not going to be too much drama when it comes to that. The drama will be who's going to be the fifth starter and who's going to fill out the bullpen. That's really where the jobs are. And, of course, a couple of guys on the bench this year. That's really where the drama is going to come this spring training. And also who's going to be playing third base, because with Didi Gregorius, in the mix now, you're going to have Scott Kingery there. So, how is, second, third, and short going to be put together for the Philadelphia Phillies? That'll be something to kind of keep an eye on as well. Kind of think Kingery's going to win the third base job, and then the other two guys will figure out second and short. That would be my prediction going into spring training. But we got Alex in here, and I know we had to cut your talk short last week on the show, maybe just a little bit. Can you go over with us your Super Bowl experience?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get in a little bit more of this with you.
Yeah, so honestly, it was a great experience, right? So going to Miami, I didn't go to the Super Bowl itself, but I did the next best thing. But we'll get to that later.
You stood outside the door and said, "Let me in."
Right. I tailgated. No, but so my mics. Anywho, so I went to Miami. We got there Thursday night. Didn't do anything Thursday night. Kind of chilled. Went around the area. Had never been to Miami before. I've been to Florida, but I've never been to Miami. Mm-hmm. So I kind of just toured around the area a little bit.
So how is that?
It's beautiful. It's everyone's super nice in Miami. Compared to Jersey, everyone's so nice down there. So that was another thing. First of all, I'm driving on the highway with all Rolls Royces and McLarens. I'm like, I don't fit in here. These guys are just naturally driving by. I'm like, you never seen a Rolls Royce dealership before. Oh, I finally see one.
And you're driving your Prius down the road.
Yeah, right.
Prius.
Well, I had a Chrysler 300. That was my rental car. So we were doing somewhat okay. If I was in Jersey, I'd be all right. But no, in Florida, it's just natural. That's like the typical, right? But so Friday night is where everything kicked off. They NFL alumni host a couple events. You know, everything NFL alumni does for charity, right? So it's all mainly for alumni, Hall of Famers, former players. They gather events. They bring in an artist who's not too big, but big enough. So we had Aloe Black in. I don't know if you guys know who Aloe Black is, but he's the guy who made the song "I'm the Man, I'm the Man."
Okay.
Look it up. It's a really good song. It's called "The Man" by Aloe Black. Really good song. He was a head performer for it's called a JBL concert. Everyone obviously knows JBL, the speaker brand stuff.
Sure.
You don't know JBL?
Nope.
The tech company that makes like the speakers and stuff?
Nope.
Oh yeah, they are good. I know JBL.
Yeah, JBL. So it was their like event they had. So I was down there just to do photography, videography work, and stuff like that. Right? We go down there, and I'm casually chilling the event. People are starting to show up. It was insane, unreal moment for me. If you're a real sports fan, you kind of know how like these moments might be. Every other person was either a former player, a Hall of Famer, or a current player. It's like, okay, here's a date. There's a dude. Oh, wow, that's Kellen Winslow. All right, cool. There's somebody that's Deontay Johnson. All right, cool. There's Mark Duper. Wow, these guys are just walking in like it's nothing. So, oddly enough, like the first time ever, like I don't get starstruck no more. It's like really weird. Like as a kid, like old me would be like, oh my God, like I gotta get your autograph and stuff. But it almost like felt like home. You know, you start walking around, I have the camera, I'm like, let's just get all the best shots I can. Let me catch interactions of Mark Duper shaking Thomas Henderson's hand. These former legends and these players is getting together. Lee Woodall walking in and high-fiving, you know, Brent Reese or Beasley Reese or something. It's just like, let me catch like these moments.
Right.
And so the concert's happening. I'm around everybody. It was like a couple hundred people. It was a small area, right? It's a private event. So it's not a ton of people. There it is. That's a great song. He performed this like I was so hyped. I'm just catching a hole in the moments. All Aloe Black just getting action shots of him dancing, his band. So that was a great experience. Day 2 is the game day brunch. So Super Bowl day. It's right in the morning. Looking at 11 o'clock in the morning, Miami, right near the beach at the Hard Rock Cafe. I get in. First of all, traffic in the area is horrible because they close off all the roads because Kanye West was having his church service right next door.
He was busy riding a horse down the street.
Right. So we had Kanye next door to us, and then we have the NFL alumni thing kicking off. So everybody's in this area, right?
Wow.
So, you know, you walk in, and there's just walls of autographs because obviously they're going to auction off their autographs, and whatever money goes charity. They have like different charities they auction off to. So Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes autographs and stuff were all going up for auction. And this event was like amazing. So they had a VIP area, a lot of footballs, just white footballs. All the alumni would walk in, former players, and go in and just keep signing the ball. So I'm like, let's catch all this action shots. Like so much content, just keep catching it, keep catching everybody in the action. It's a crazy experience. I started surrounding myself with so many players, I started losing track of who's who. I'm like, I don't know who you are, but I'm talking to you right now. And I'm not going to disrespect them and go, hey, what's your name? But I'm going to act like I know who you are. I'm going to be like, hey, it's nice to meet you. My name's Alex. Because, like, you're going to assume that I know who you are, right? Because it's like, one, a lot of these guys were before my time, right? And I don't see you in a jersey or a helmet. If I see you in your uniform or if I see you when you're playing, like I could tell who current players are right now. Like when I saw Deontay Johnson, I'm like, oh my God, I'm taking pics of Deontay Johnson. And we just talked for like 10 minutes. We're sitting there talking while he's waiting for an Uber. And he dabs me up. He's like, be easy, bro. I was like, that was Deontay. That's crazy. But, so I was talking to Lee Woodall. And I actually recognized him. But I knew it was like, I thought it was Woody Yard. Thank God I didn't open my mouth. You know, like when you see somebody and it's like, I know who you are. But, like, you want to ask them what their name is, and you're going to say the wrong name. Yeah. But, you know, I'm like, all right, I know Lee. Like, his face is unmistakable. I'm like, it's Woodyard. I know you play for the 49ers. I didn't say a word. Yeah. We're just talking. And I was like, bro, it's great to meet you. He has, like, these nice diamond-crusted shoes or whatever. And we're just talking. And then I asked an idiot question. I was like, oh, who you have in the Super Bowl? I'm like, oh, you played for the 49ers. He's like, yeah, I got my boys, the 49ers. I was like, that was a dumb question on my end. And I'm walking away, and I walk over to Colette Smith, who was like one of the first African-American female personnel on like a sports team. Yeah. And she was with the Jets. And I think she does her own thing, but she's still with the NFL. I know that for sure. I walk over to her, I was like, yo, what's his name? Is it like Woodyard or something? And she goes, shit. Shouldn't care. She goes, dang. I forget his name too. And I was like, so what do we do? She's like, you know what? Let me just go ask him. I was like, I don't think you should ask him. She's like, I don't care. And she walks right up to him and then goes over, puts her arm around. I was watching this unfold. I was like, don't say my name. Don't say I asked.
Leave me out of this.
Right. And she goes over like it's nothing. He's talking to because there were some fans there. So obviously people that had money were got paid a lot of money to get into this event.
The whole time she's sitting there pointing at it. Yeah, you see that guy over there? He doesn't know your name.
Right.
Don't let it fool you.
Right. So we walk over. I just see her put her arm around him, and she goes, what's your name? Like, I see him point on his chest. Like, what's your name? And he whispers in the ear. She comes back to me like 10 minutes later. She's like, that's Woodall. I was like, it's Woodall, not Woodyard. Oh. Had I have said, hey, Mr. Woodyard, how are you? I would have looked stupid. He would have been like, what'd you say? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. What's something? And then you look stupid. And it was just like, it was an amazing experience. Like, I was watching over to the side. You see Thomas Henderson just sitting at a table alone. For those of you who don't know who Thomas Henderson is, he was a Lawrence Taylor before Lawrence Taylor, the original 56. The dude was a brute force, and he played for the Dallas Cowboys, and yes, he won the Super Bowl with them. I see him sitting alone. I was walking up to him. I was like, yo, what is one of the meanest, most baddest players that played the game just sitting by himself right now at a table? Not gonna lie, this dude looks scary to approach at first. He looks scary, but he's a very, very nice dude. Very nice dude. And he looks at me and points. He goes, you've seen some film on me, have you? I was like, I've seen 1 or 2 clips, but I primarily found out about you a couple days ago because I did my homework before coming. But yes, I did see a few clips. I'm like, this is you. Dude was super nice. He looks like, if you see pictures of him, you see, how you see people and you're like, all right, they look a little scary to approach. Nah, he was super nice. And I was like, that's insane. And we're just casually talking, and he starts showing me videos on his phone of some of his highlights. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm just sitting casually talking with Thomas Henderson, going over his highlights. And then one of the guys from the alumni like, hey, can you start getting pictures of this, that, the third? I was like, yeah, I got you. And then I see these 2 guys talking up. And I was like, all right, I seen this one guy last night, but I didn't see you last night. I know you're a player. I know you're not a player. I had the easiest eye. I can tell if you're a player or not. But I knew this guy wasn't a player, but he was dressed like he had money. Chain, a nice jacket. He had a name-branded shirt. I think it was
Did well at the lottery.
I think it was like Balenciaga or something. He had Balenciaga shoes. I was like, okay, so you got money, but you're not a player. But this guy, he's dressed okay. He's wearing a blazer and some jeans, but you're the player. I'm looking. I asked. I was like, hey, can I grab a picture of you 2 real quick? I'm like, all right, who is this guy? Because you are still current. You're new. Like, you're not new, but you are my time playing. And I'm like, who is it? So they start announcing the panels where everyone comes up and sits and talks about their experience, and they just answer questions and stuff. And he was the first guy to get called. And I was like, let's see, what's his name? He's like, all right, this guy, he just recently retired, 10 years in the league. He led the year 1 year receiving yards. He goes, Pierre Garçon. I was like, oh, that's Pierre Garçon. I was like, I remember you. And everything hit me. I was like, he played for the Colts. He played for the Redskins. I start telling myself all the stats.
49ers?
Right, yes. I start telling myself all the stats of Pierre Garçon as if I have to prove to myself I know who he is. I'm like, I'm sitting there taking pictures of him. I'm like, he played for those 3 teams. He caught the only touchdown for the Colts in the Super Bowl against the Saints. He was number 85. He was I'm just like running out stats. I'm like, ain't nobody else know what I'm saying to myself right now. I'm just proving to myself I really know who this guy is. And I was like, that's wild. And then so they start calling up other people. Then they have like Dave Chappelle's like writers with him. So they came up and started doing their comedy, little stand up. I was like, where's Dave Chappelle at? That's the real question.
Yeah, we get the one that actually does the
Get the one that actually does the comedy. I got 2 other guys. Like, you know how like the comics will have like their almost like a concert. Like you have like the there's a couple what's
opening acts.
Opening acts. There we go. So like they're Dave Chappelle's opening acts. So that's who they were. And I was like, okay, now where's Dave?
Yeah, they come out to do the jokes, and then he comes out to redo the jokes, but better.
Right. And I was like, where's Dave? So one of the nicest dudes I ever met too at this event, because I didn't eat all day. I don't know Miami, right? I'm trying to make a great impression for this company so I can become a part of them. So everything's cookie cutter with me. I have to get there on time. I have to get there before the event, and there's so much traffic. Not to mention I had a flat tire. Yeah, my rental got a flat tire. You know what's crazy? I was at the JBL event, the concert. I come back to my car, and I start it, and I see the tire pressure is low. And I'm like, how is this tire pressure low? You sat here for 3 hours. What the hell happened? I'm like, it's 11 o'clock at night in Miami. Don't know the area. I have a rental car. I have to drive to my hotel. What's open to get air in? Like, I can't fix this tire. I'm not going to try and fix a spare. I don't even know if I have a
spare tire.
A donut in the back. So I was like, okay, we're driving home. And I was like, you know what? This can't be a flat. I drove home perfectly fine. Right. Wake up the next morning. Nah, that thing is like... And I was like, So it is like flat. I'm like, I got to find a thing. I got to put air. I got to get to this brunch. I'll be pissed if I miss this brunch because this car want to act up. And I drive the Wawa, the Super Wawa, because they usually have the free air. Yeah. Not this Wawa. I guess Miami hasn't heard of that. So luckily, right next door was a Jiffy Lube, and I was like, all right, cool. And the guy was like, yeah, what's up? What you need? I was like, I just need some air, boss. He's like, all right, just back it in. So I start backing the car in. I look in the mirror. He looks like he's yelling to one of his coworkers. They start laughing. I'm like, this guy's definitely busting his balls on me because I got this flat ass tire. And I'm asking for air. And he walks up to me and goes, yo, man, I hate to tell you, but you got a flat. You're going to need a new tire. I was like, all right, cool. Let's just get some air in this. I ain't got time for a tire. He's like, it's all right. But I didn't say that, obviously. That's rude. In my mind, I'm like, okay, cool. Plug that up. He was like, but we don't have our tech in right now, so we can get you in tomorrow. I'm like, no. I'm not paying for no damn tire on this rental car because we're just going to put the air in. He plugs it in, and he fills it up to the PSI I asked for. And what sparked my mind was, if this was a real flat tire, that tire wouldn't have filled. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It was a filled tire, and I put my ear down. I'm sitting there. I squat, press on it, make sure it's cool. I should be hearing a psst. You would hear something, or it wouldn't fill up. Like, if there was a legitimate hole in this tire, the air's going to keep going out. It would never inflated. And if there was a minor hole, you would hear a psst, and then I would just drain air. And I'm like, all right, it's either I can plug it up or something. I'm like, no. So I drive to the brunch, perfectly fine. And I get back to my car, and the car's still fine. So I'm like, okay, cool. There's not a flat. Something has to be in the tire. Long story short, it was like a little tack that got into the tire. So I was like, yo, nobody knows about this. Fill the tire pressure up to like 44, max that thing out, and leave it. Yeah. That's all I did. Nothing. I saw it did nothing. The guy asked me at the dealership. He's like, "Hey, Gahari, give you any problems?" No, sir, it did not. It did not inflate on or deflate on me the very second day I had it because I somehow hit a tack in the back left tire. Yeah. But anywho,
here's the keys. I'll take my security deposit.
Exactly. Right. It's the next guy who did it, and I was we're leaving the brunch. All right, we're at the brunch. This is where I left up at. Nicest dude I ever met. So I haven't ate. And I was like, all right, there's like free food over here. Let me just sneak away and grab a plate real quick. Just grab a plate, start eating. I'm like, now where do I just put this? It's really unprofessional if I just had a plate, went to a table, dropped it, and said deuces and walked away. So many people will see that happen. They're like, who is this guy that's just leaving his stuff anywhere? I was like, that's not a good look. I'm walking around like, where do I drop this off? There's nowhere. I don't want to go up and ask. Like, I hate asking people at events. Like, if you work the event as like a waiter or something like that, or like the people that serve the tables and stuff, I'm not trying to ask you to take care of my plate because, like, you know what I'm saying? To me, like,
But you can ask where you can deposit your trash.
Right. So I didn't even think about that because I don't like. But I worked in customer service. So I don't like when someone walks up to me and just goes, "Hey, can you take care of this?" Or like, I don't know. To me, I just seem like if I do that, I'm making you assume. I'm assuming you're just gonna take it from me. So I don't like doing that. Just dude, Antoine. Shout out Antoine. He's definitely not listening right now. But like, I'll tell him I mentioned this, so he will tune in. And he goes, "Yo, I'll take that for you." I was like, "Nah, man, are you sure?" He's like, "I got you. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I get my second plate when the event's over. They're like, "Yo, you need to go eat." I was like, "Yeah, I do." And I go eat, I grab a second plate. As soon as I stand up, Right, I stand up, I turn around, Antoine was right there. I got you, sir. Give it to me. I was like, oh, I feel so bad right now. I was like, you don't have to pick up after me. He's like, when's the next time you come back here? He's like, no. He goes, are you from here? I was like, no. He's like, where are you from? I said, Jersey. He goes, when's the next time you're coming back? I said, I don't know, but hopefully soon. He goes, well, right now, you're here. So I am at your will. Whatever you need, I got you. I hope you can come back one day, and every time you're here, it's all my pleasure to serve you. I was like, damn, such a nice dude.
Yeah.
And he goes back. I'm like, I have to tip him. You do not do that work and not get tipped. I walk around for like 10 minutes. I'm asking people, hey, yo, where's Antoine? They're like, oh, I'm going back and get him. Ain't nobody's getting Antoine. I'm like, I found this guy 1,000 times over. Oh, he's even the guy that helped me get good reception for the radio show. Because the call kept dropping. He's like, you need to get to a quiet spot. Come here. Runs me downstairs and goes, hey, this is Alex. He'll be right back. He has to go on the radio show real quick. And walks me over to across the building. And he goes, you should be cool here. So I was like, let me find this guy. So for like 20 minutes, I can't find him. I'm like, the one time you want to find somebody, you can't find him. I found him, tipped him. And then we've exchanged Instagrams and stuff. And dude, great dude. So like, Miami was super nice. And then after that, I went back to my hotel. I was like, I really got no plans for the Super Bowl. So I texted my man Brent, and I was like, what are you doing for the Super Bowl? He's like, yo, come to Akon's block party. For you those of you who don't know, Akon was a former R&B hip-hop artist. Really big. Now he recently bought his own city a year or two ago in Africa.
What's it called? A city?
Akon City. Yeah, but he has his own city. He's still making a lot of money, but he's not on the music side no more, producing more music. But you remember the song "Smack That" with Eminem?
Yeah,
that was his song.
Ironically.
All right, so yeah, you know who Akon is. So
yeah, I'm not that old.
Well, you didn't know JBL. That surprised me.
Well, when you talk about speakers, I don't recognize like
the brands.
Okay, unless they're popular, like RCA or things of that nature.
Got you.
The old school stuff.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. So, where was I at?
Going to Akon's party.
So yeah. Oh wait, someone is FaceTiming me right now.
It's probably Akon going, dude, you talking about me again?
No, it's a guy who's gonna have my podcast. So we had this thing, and I go down there, and I couldn't find no parking, and I'm like, this sucks. I should have figured out like where to park, because obviously cops had the area blocked off. It's a big event.
Yeah.
Like
just
tickets.
roll up on the lawn and be like, it's good if I leave it here, right?
Right,
Akon.
And I go find an area to park on the side of the curb, and I see like 17 homeless people. I'm like, this ain't the area for me to park my car. I'll come back to nothing. Let me skirt around.
That's when you look at one and go, $5, you watch this.
Right. No, I paid for a valet. I didn't care. I was like, you know what? Screw it. Money comes and goes. Got into the event, and now people are watching the Super Bowl on this big-ass monitor, and in cars, like old school cars, with the low riders, with the convertible, with the top down.
So this is indoors with a big screen.
No. This is outside.
Oh,
this block party's all outside.
So it's almost like a drive-in.
Right. This block party's all outside. Yeah.
So it's like,
and
we
then
got cars inside
they
the
had
house.
all low riders, convertibles top down. And people are sitting in the cars watching. I was like, yo. And Brent's like, yo, we're going to leave the spot soon. I was like, we're going to leave? I just got here. I got in for free. So we tore around his place real quick. He has this little blocked off area. We were the only people to walk in this spot. It was a VIP little building. They had red ropes and a security dude staying out of it. And one dude who's working at security detail walks up and starts taking us back there. And the guy's like, nah, you can't go in here. He's like, nah, I'm taking them back there. I was like, wow, you just got it like that. He's like, no, I'm doing this. And we go in, and it was like a room with expensive artwork. Like literally there were signs everywhere. Do not touch nothing. And then he showed us this basketball that was purple and yellow for Kobe. It had Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. His birthday, his year he deceased. And it had the ball dazzled in Lakers colors, all framed. He showed us that ball. Then we left, and here's the best part. We left there to finish watching the Super Bowl in Hugh Green's mansion. So I got to watch the Super Bowl in the mansion with Hugh Green, Aaron Beasley, Mark Duper, and one other former player. I didn't know his name. But yeah, it was the biggest building, or it was like a little spot in Miami, right off the beach. And they had a fridge that could fit 30 of me. That fridge is the biggest fridge I've ever saw in my life. I was like, And they were super, super nice. As soon as I walked in, everyone's like, hey, I'm Morgan, I'm Mike, I'm Guy. Like, I'm just introducing me like as if I'm supposed to be there. Like, no one's like...
That's why they're doing that, because they're like, maybe this guy's an investor. I better
right.
suck up to him. You know?
Like in Jersey, people would you would just walk. You would come into a party, and only like a couple people would introduce themselves. Everyone would see you and be like, "Oh, I don't care," and just keep walking. Everybody introduced themselves to me.
And then one guy calls the cops on you. It's like, "Are you supposed to be here?"
Right. Yeah. And then Aaron, I was like, "Yo, I'm kind of really thirsty." I had some of the best wings of my life down there. Their ribs would cook right off. They slid right off the bone. I was like, "Oh, they know how to make this stuff down here." I had like my plate was filled with bones of chicken wings.
And they got a bunch of chickens in the back without any wings. I was like,
right.
Hey, what the?
And I was like looking at Aaron. I was like, yo, Aaron, can I get a drink real quick? I feel bad just grabbing. It's not my house. It's not my place. I'm just going to walk in and take. The food was a different story because they said help yourself and they gave me a plate. But when it comes to drinks, nah. I was like, yo, Aaron, you cool if I have a drink? He's like, yo, man, grab a cold one. He's like, he took the warm one out of my hand, puts it down, goes, go in the fridge and grab a cold one. Grab what you want. I was like, damn, I love y'all here. Go in, grab
you
my
open
drink.
the fridge, walk in, hello?
Right.
Hello?
I'm just like looking around. Like, it's like, I was like, this is like
bigger than my apartment.
Gateway to Narnia in here.
I know, right?
The bathroom was as rich as my house. I got to walk into this bathroom and I was like, oh my God, this is worth more than my house alone. This bathroom. I was like, Jesus. So yeah, we watched the Super Bowl. So everyone was super nice and just watching. It was a great day. I started connecting with people and we're just having a great time watching the game. And I'm just casually talking to this one dude, Chris, Mark, and Aaron, as if like we knew each other for a long time. Usually at parties or events, you kind of take forever to adapt to somebody, or you kind of stand off alone. I'm just literally fitting in. No awkward signs. We're all just talking. It was a great game. Great day. Great, best experience of my life. It's definitely going to happen again. But yeah, Miami was awesome.
Nice.
Miami was awesome. I almost got conned. You guys give me 1 second though so I can come back to finish the story. My friend said he's downstairs. I want to keep him waiting. So I'll be back. I'll be back.
All right. Yeah, we'll talk about you behind your back where you're out. No problem.
Oh.
Right back. Yeah, definitely want to hear about this con job.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
That's not what I wanted. Never mind.
Yeah, okay. Was that a commercial or something you accidentally put on?
No, it was a scene from Beverly Hills Cop. Unfortunately, it was in Spanish or some other language.
Oh, I hate it when it's in Spanish because,
Yeah.
But then again, it was for the Super Bowl halftime show, so technically you were doing right.
Ah, that's very true.
Yeah, that's how we correct mistakes on the show.
Yes.
We lie.
Yeah.
There we go.
Fine. Yes, he appreciates it, Max, but take your ass home.
There you go.
Well, we already had that already broken over
yeah.
there with Alex. So
but
it's at the end of the show, so no one's listening anymore.
But anyway, yeah. So, lots of good talk about the Super Bowl. You know, as we're wrapping it up and we're about to head into free agency within the NFL. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be an interesting thing because, as we discussed with Ray Dinger earlier, this will be a robust free agent market for quarterbacks, this year. A lot of quarterbacks are going to be free, are going to be eligible to sign with other teams. I just got an alert on my phone. I will have to bring this up to Mike next week. This just in. Report says former Yankee has emerged as a potential buyer for the New York Mets.
Ooh.
And, of course, that former Yankee is Alex Rodriguez.
Okay. Let's hope hopefully this comes through. And
so, Alex Rodriguez would definitely have the money to be an investor, let me put it that way, for the New York Mets. It remains to be seen how serious A-Rod is. According to a report by the New York Post, the former Yankees third baseman has emerged as a potential suitor to buy the team. Steve Cohen, as we discussed with Mike, looked to ready to purchase the Mets, but Cohen walked away from the $2.6 billion deal after learning the Wilpon family would not give up control of the team during the first 5 years of his ownership. So, A-Rod, it says here, A-Rod has always been thought of as someone that would remain in the game after retiring, but having earned over $400 million during his playing career, through salary, bonuses, incentives, endorsements, etc. Manager job that pays less than 1% of that amount seemed highly unlikely. I guess he could be a manager, but he might be thinking, well, me getting a manager's salary is beneath my pay grade. Like, I have more money in the bank than what I'm going to earn as a manager. Yeah. But it's still a managerial job. You're still in the game. You're still making decisions for the team. Now, according to this, the A-Rod has a net worth reportedly close to $350 million. So he'd have to make up the rest of the $2.6 billion that the Mets were going for. So he would have to bring in some other guys. Now, his fiance is, of course, J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, and her net worth is closer to $400 million. But still, even if you combine both their net worths, you're still $750 million, and you still have to make up money. And
you know what? He's just going to do a GoFundMe to make up the rest.
Yeah, why not?
Get the fans involved.
Hey, let me tell you, if he did that, the way the Mets fans hate the Wilpons, you never know. He might get the rest of the money.
Well, if they're that desperate, I'll do a GoFundMe and just help me buy the team. I'll take it over.
There you go.
I'll have the Philly Fanatic join them.
No, we can't have that happening there.
Why? He's gonna fix the Phillies when he coaches them.
We got everything straightened out with the coaching staff on the Phillies.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
No, we got it all straightened out. Joe Girardi's the man. We've got a good coaching staff. Yeah. So,
but speaking of con jobs, I hear there's a good con coming from Miami soon.
Yeah. So.
Hold on.
I'm back.
Okay, so Alex is back with his Super Bowl story.
Yeah, so the first day, where I'm off to my event, right? I'm walking out to my car, lone dude in the parking lot in this hotel area. Walking out to the back of it, going to my car. I got my equipment, my camera, and my 2 other bags with me. Walking out, I see 3 dudes. I see 2 white dudes, all tatted up. Which ain't a comfortable thing to see. When you're tatted, your whole hand to arm to neck is all tatted. All right. So I was like, all right. And then there was one bald black dude. And walked to my car, and I hear, yo, brother. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm sorry. Should I not say that?
No,
that's my bad.
No,
my
go
bad,
for
Jay.
It. I say go for it.
I say go for it. That's
We're
my
already
bad.
late in the game. Might as well keep going anyway.
That's my bad. I got comfortable. Once I get in character, I kind of just say what really happens.
I got you.
And he walks up to me, and he's walking. It's only the black dude. So my first thought was, where are your 2 other guys? I'm like, there's 3 of you 30 seconds ago when I walked by.
Right.
I didn't even think they saw me because their backs were facing me, but I'm very observant, and they're kind of being really loud. So, of course, I looked. They're like, hey, who you got in the Super Bowl? So they sound like they were already drinking. That's why it kind of tipped me off because they keep asking everybody, who's on the Super Bowl? And he walks up, and guess what his question was? Who you got in the Super Bowl? I'm like, Chiefs. He goes, F you. And I was like, I knew not to say it. He's like, F you. I was like, oh, my God. I just pissed him off. He's walking up one person, and he's already asking who I got in the Super Bowl. I'm like, he walks up to my trunk, and he's like, how you doing, bro? He's like, what you about to do? I was like, not much. Just got some work I got to do. He's like, oh, what you got the camera and stuff for? I was like, I'm just going to, I'm a videographer, photographer. He's like, oh, cool. He's like, yo, let's play a game, brother. I'm like, nah, man, I really got time to play no game. He's like, no, let's play a game, real quick fun. I was like, oh, whatever, but you're not going to leave me alone. So we played this card game real quick, and he's like, oh, wow. He's like, I'll give you $20 if you find this card. I find the card. He gives me $20. I was like, oh, wow, you really gave me $20. Do it 2 more times, and I got $60.
Here it comes.
I was like, oh. Now you really, myself, I'm like, all right, cool. I shut the trunk on him. I was like, all right, cool. I'm about to dip. He's like, no. Let me put my money back real quick. I was like, bro, honestly, I really didn't care, to be honest with you, because it wasn't like, I really didn't care. I was like, you know what? Fine. He's like, yo, if you find the card, I'll give you 100. If not, you give me the 60 back. I was like, literally, I ain't got nothing really to lose right now because it's not like I'm losing anything. So I was like, you know what? Let me just do it. If I win, I'm winning $100
on top of the 60.
On top of the 60. And if I lose the 60, okay, cool. I lost some money you just gave me. Like, to me, it's a no-brainer. Now, I'm also thinking to myself, too, while this is happening, I kind of skipped that, but I'm like, where is his other guys at, though? I'm the only guy, so I'm like, where? I made sure I positioned myself to where I could see the reflection of the car, like, where the reflection of the car saw everything behind me. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm keeping a swivel. I have a tape recorder on me. I had that thing on, so I'm recording everything that happens. Because if I get jumped right now, I need to be able to show authorities, like, yo, these are these guys. I'm everything recording.
So you have it recorded, which you're going to have to show us later off air.
No. Yeah, there's not in video. It's a tape recorder, so it's just audio. It's just audio.
I'd love to hear the actual. That'd be cool.
And he, I lose or whatever. He switches the board around, and I lose the money. Then I see him drop a 20, and I was like, all right, this is my time to win some money. I put my foot, like,
trying to be sleek.
I slickly put my foot over that 20. He didn't even PP dropped or nothing. So I'm casually staying on this 20. Then he starts talking to me. He starts pulling out a cigarette. He starts smoking. And he's like, I like you, dude. He's like, I really like you. He's like, but I'm going to tell you something. He's like, never play these games down here. Like, you got lucky today. He's like, never play these games down here. You're never going to win. Da-da-da. He's like, I like you, though. He's like, what you really going to do? And I told him, I'm with the NFL. Da-da-da. He's like, you came here alone, didn't you? And now I start getting a little comfortable, but I kept my guard up. I didn't go there alone, but I'm going to tell him I did come alone. So he's like, you came here alone? I was like, yeah, it took everything I got to get here. So I'm going to just keep telling you answers and make it sound like I'm vulnerable because I'm thinking worst case scenario no matter what. And then he's like, he saw a tape recorder chilling because I got too comfortable and I put the thing down. He's like, what is that? And I was like, it's my recorder. He's like, oh, you recording this? I was like, bro, I record everything. I told you I'm a photographer. It's going for YouTube, bro. He's like, YouTube? I said, yeah, man, YouTube. I get paid off YouTube. I started BSing now.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, man, you know YouTube? I said, I'm filming everything I do down here in Miami. He's like, oh, man. I was like, oh, you want me to delete it? So I'm like, I could tell it flustered him. And I was like, I'm still on the lookout for these other two people coming up behind me. That's why I closed the trunk. So I kind of felt a little safer because
you don't want to end up in
it.
Well, I don't want to be in it, but I don't want you getting my camera and stuff. Like, I need that.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you get to me, because you ain't going to get the key if it's in my pocket. Like, I'm not letting you get to my pockets. Like, your hands in that area, no. So, like, I felt safer. I had my recorder going. He knows he's being recorded. And we talked for, like, another 10 minutes. Those two guys never came up, but he left me be. He went off. And I was like, damn. I kind of got conned. But, like, he was a really nice dude. So, like, we just had a nice conversation. He started telling me himself, yo, low-key, I was interrogating this guy because when I didn't trust him, I was like, oh, what's your tattoo right there? Oh, he starts telling me what the tattoo says and stuff. I'm like, now I got a description of you painted on this thing. If anything happens to me, I'm like, hey, yo, this guy. Look like this, and you can hear what his whole description was. So, like, that was that incident.
And you walked away with $20 when you think about it.
No, actually, this is what happened.
Nice?
This is what huh?
Were you too nice and took your foot away?
Yo, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I did. I kind of got like a little nervous because I was like, what if he kind of like in my head I started processing everything. What if he counts and realizes he's like missing money?
Too drunk to count.
But I'm thinking of everything. Yeah. You already think I'm here alone. You already came up to me once, and you're gonna think I have your money. And there's 3 of you that I know about. I'm not trying to mess anything up. So my whole thing, the rest of the thing was never come back to the hotel. Like only go back to the hotel real late at night because I was gonna be out anyway. It's Miami. I'm doing work anyway. So I was like, you're never gonna see me again. That was my goal. I don't want you to know what room I'm in. You already saw the equipment I had. I don't want you somehow getting into my room. And, I moved my foot real quick, and he goes to walk away. He's like, oh, I dropped my money. I was like, yeah, you did, bro. And I was like, oh, you know what? I don't even care. Like, it's $20. I can't get mad over $20. Like, it wasn't something I could get pissed off of. I just sat in the car. I was like, you know what? That's just a funny story. Like, I don't get mad at anything anymore. Life is... It's a cliche statement, but life is too short. But literally, I don't get mad over nothing anymore. I don't stress over school. I don't stress over work. Cool. If you're failing a class, all right, cool. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't go good for me or make anything better if I sit there and complain and stress out that I'm failing. It's either, okay, I'm failing. I can either continue to fail or give it my best effort to not fail. And let's just, like, really have to grind and work. Whatever happens, happens. All right, cool. But I can't just fold. So I sat in the car. I was like, you know what? Hey, it's whatever, dude. You're not gonna miss $20. Next week I'll get paid and make the money back.
Exactly. It
So,
wasn't yours in the first place.
Right. So it was just like, you know what? It really doesn't matter to me. I got conned essentially, but like it don't matter. And then I'm going up to visit the stadium real quick, get some shots of the stadium because they have all the Super Bowl stuff out there. And I remember with the rental car, there was a rule we chose not to take tolls. And I'm driving up, I get off 295, and there's a freaking toll, and I was like, oh my god.
If only I had $20.
Right. So I park up, and I was
That
like,
was good.
I park up, and I'm looking in this area that says authorized parking only. I'm like, oh my god. Call my parents, like, hey, y'all gotta come help me out. I'm at this toll booth, and I don't have a toll. And I did lose $20. I did $20. I bet him $20 to win the 60. So that's what happened.
Okay.
That's how I got the 60. That's my bad. I forgot about that. So my dad gave me $20. I was like, yo, I'm hustling this. I didn't tell my dad that, but I was like, yo, I'm hustling this guy.
Well, you just did now.
True. So, so what happened was,
Hey, Alex, you know that 20 I lent you for Miami? We need to talk.
I won the 20, but to get the 60, I put my 20 up and won 60 off it. So
Yeah.
I was chilling. So I was like, you know what? So I lost $20. Me, I don't care. This $20, I could pay my dad back the 20. I tried to give him back. I went to the ATM and gave him 20. He's like, dude, just hold it. And I was like, okay. I'm not gonna tell you why.
If that ever happens again, just a word of advice, and you put a 20 in, you just go, how about this? I'll just give you the 40 that I won off this. I'll keep the original 20. We'll just call it even.
Good.
Nice day. You go about. You have a good
Next time I walk with my 60.
Yeah. Or just say goodbye.
Yeah, right. It's not gonna happen again. I don't let things happen twice.
Yeah, don't go to Philly.
So, I'm calling my parents. I'm like, yo, come to this thing. I can't get to the toll. First of all, I don't know why we said no to tolls if I'm gonna be the only one driving through Miami and from Fort Lauderdale to Miami like 4 days a week. Like I gotta get through a toll probably at some point.
Yeah.
But anywho, so my parents wrap around. Somehow they get to the stadium with no tolls. Like, oh, where were you? I was like, I told you where I was. I told you where you'd go. They're like, we didn't see the toll booth. I'm like, of course, I find a toll.
Of course.
My mom and dad come back to the back end of the toll, and my mom starts running across the road to get to me. So then she gets to me. It wasn't that busy. It really wasn't. And then we see people going through, and we're like, oh, there is no like people in these stands to give the money to at the toll. It's like all like easy passes. I was like, oh, we're definitely screwed. You did this for nothing. Then we see one car go through, and there's those little sign will say like in Jersey it says go easy pass when you paid.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like a Sun Pass in Florida or something like that. And they have a screen and it said like, not paid. I was like, oh, someone just drove through and they didn't pay. 2 cars later, not paid. I was like, are these things even working? Super Bowl weekend, I don't see no camera taking a picture of nothing happening. I was like, you should be taking a picture if someone didn't pay. Like, flash up, got your license plate and stuff. I was like, you know what, Mom? Screw it. We're going through. It's our only option. Unless I beeline across like 4 lanes and hit that little gap between like the aisle and like the cones where I could drive up on the other side. I was like, you know what, we're going through. And we went through. And nothing happened. We still have yet to hear something. So we did it like twice. And I was like, I guess Florida's like a broken state, or it's because it was a Super Bowl time and they really didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone they heard this, they're going to be like, all right, let's find this guy.
Yeah, probably screwed now. But yeah, it was a good day. Went down to the stadium, took some pictures.
Nice.
Got real close and just did my thing. Had a good time.
There you go, man.
That's awesome. Alex, before we go, I wanted to get your opinion on something that just came across my cell phone. Apparently, the Mets are torturing Mike Nebbia even a little bit more now. Because what just came across, I want to get your opinion on it. A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, is apparently thinking about putting in a bid to buy the New York Mets.
Dude, that's insane. I'm not gonna lie. A-Rod's making a lot of money moves. I met A-Rod once. I don't like the way he came off when I met him. He was too cocky. It kind of pissed me off a little bit because when I met him, I wasn't trying to meet him as a fan.
Yeah.
I grew up as a Yankees fan. I'm from Carteret, New Jersey, so really close to New York. My whole family's like a Yankees fan. So it was cool to see him in my gym one day. This is irrelevant, but he was in my gym one day working out, and I came up there to shoot my shot because I knew he needed an intern for what he does, and this is my field. And I was good friends with one of his business partners because him and this dude named Jamie's a really nice guy. He's in real estate, and he does real estate with A-Rod, buying commercial buildings and properties and reselling them or just like penthouses and selling them like big investment properties. And Jamie took my resume and stuff that's supposed to send it to A-Rod and tell him about me. I sent him all this stuff, and it was like, I seen pictures of Jamie in A-Rod's private jet with A-Rod, with Francisco Lindor, closing deals and stuff. So I walk up to A-Rod, and I was like, all right, cool. Like, A-Rod's a sinner on his phone ignoring me. So I was like, I got to make myself look notable to you. I was like, cool, yo, Jamie Jimenez, does that name ring a bell to you? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, now you know I'm not BSing. Like, because now I can really drop names. I was like, cool. Yeah. I explained myself to him. The dude barely looks me in the eye. He barely gives me any respect at time of day. The least, all he could have done at least was, like, look me in the eye and respect. I'm not saying, yo, can I get a picture with you? Can I get an autograph like other people at the gym do? I'm going to shoot my shot. I said, yo, I know you need an intern. I was like, I know you need an intern. I heard from Jamie, so I just want to respectfully introduce myself. I know he took my resume and passed it on to you. This is me just formally introducing myself. And he goes, all right, buddy, well, you take care now. And he goes to walk off. I'm like, cool. So I put my hand out. I was like, yo, A-Rod, it's nice meeting you. And I got a little mad. And I looked at him. I was like, am I, like, wasting your time right now? And he looks at me. He, like, his head tilts back a bit. He's like, what? I was like, dude, I'm trying to introduce myself. You want an intern? That's what I heard. I'm respectfully introducing myself. So I'm not trying to take your time or bother you, but I'm trying to network. And he goes, well, we'll keep in touch. Then he starts to walk away. I put my hand out like, yo, dude, once again, like, hey. And then he shakes my hand and walks away. I was like, yo, you're a little bit of, like that was too hot. Like, you think you're hot stuff? Like, I really got mad a little bit. I was like, dude, like, that was, like, a little screwed up. Because, like, it was 11 o'clock at night outside of a gym. No one's bothering you. And I'm trying to talk to you about something that I was told you had interest in, and a reason why I had to email my resume out to get in touch with you. So I was a little mad about that, and I was like, I don't even know if I want to work with you. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, I would, no. But yeah, he's definitely making a lot of business moves. So I wouldn't be surprised that he could put a bid in for the New York Yankees. But I think he's trying to file, or for the Mets. I'm sorry, that's my bad. But I think he's trying to file too much Derek Jeter. You know, A-Rod. I don't know. You're
that
filing,
would be, you know,
you're filing too much in Derek Jeter right now. Find your own legacy, because as soon as Jeter hopped out the league, he was with the Marlins. It was immediate, ASAP. Yeah. A-Rod, you're 2 years down the line. A-Rod's been retired for how long? And you're already you want to. A-Rod, you don't want to buy a team. You either like the idea of it, and you're trying to keep your name relevant somehow. That's exactly how I see it, dude. You already have the spotlight on you because you're with J-Lo. You already get your interviews there and your publicity there. What are you really going to buy a team for? You don't need to buy a team. You're doing all this commercial real estate that, like, I see all the time and hear about. Probably, I don't know if I'm allowed to say any of this stuff. I don't care. I already said it's too late.
You know why he's trying to stay relevant? Because he's trying to make up for the fact that she was with Ben Affleck.
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, how can you follow that act? I mean, come on. It's
but
Affleck.
I was like, dude, like... To me, it's just like, what are you buying the Yankees? What are you buying the Mets for? You're not. How are you going to improve? What's your plan to really improve them? It's like when The Rock says he's going for president. Rock, I love you, but like, what's your real like standpoints on politics? Yeah, you're a favorite. You're a great athlete, but now buying a team is a different. Floyd Mayweather wanted to own a basketball team for years. He still has yet to do it, and the dude's a billionaire, and he still has yet to have his own basketball team. A-Rod's like, I'm just going to put a bid in. For why? What's the point in it? We know you have money, bro. So like, don't just start throwing around like it's I could just do this.
Maybe as far as retirement or something.
To me, honestly, I'm just gonna say it's stupid in my opinion. If you really wanted a team, we would have heard about this before, and you should have done it a lot sooner than now. How many years later you've been out the league and all of a sudden you're gonna hop on a team? We've heard about it. Mayweather's talked about it for so long, buying a team. It took Jeter within 1 year being retired to do it, and you've heard nothing about this guy wanting to own a team. Now he's like co-owner of the Marlins or whatever. And now Aaron's like, I'm just going to put a bid in. Like, dude, go hop on a jet, go back to wherever you live and chill. Like, just chill. Do your thing. Stop it. Stop it. The Marlins aren't great. Derek Jeter was a 30,000 times better baseball player than you were. And look what he's doing with the Marlins. What do you think you're going to do with the Mets? Realistically, the defending the defending World Series champions are in your division. It's their division to have for a couple years to come, unless the Phillies get their crap together and really spark up. Other than that, the Mets, you're a third place, fourth place team.
Yeah. Well, he'd be better than the
Wilpons.
Wilpons.
Say
Wilsons.
Why do you say that though? He has no experience in owning a team. Yes, he played the game.
Neither do the Wilpons, but that's okay.
But he has no experience in owning a team and stuff. That's $1 billion bid. Hey, Rod, you're no billionaire, my guy. That's money that you don't have.
Yeah, and
But we just said that. Like, I think he's gonna get a GoFundMe to help raise it. So, you know.
Nah, bro, I ain't funding you. A-Rod, stop it. I try asking for a simple, like, networking, and you shot me down. Like, bro, stop it. I hate when people think too high of themselves. You're on a pedestal. Nah. Because A-Rod, who were you before that? You were a little boy from the DR playing ball and came. You got to remember those days. You got to stop letting fame and money get to you. Because I low-key want to be like, yo, I want to say something. I'll tell you guys what I wanted to say off air. I ain't going to say this on here, what I wanted to say. But I wanted to kind of roast him a little bit. Like, yeah, you got money, bro. Yeah, you did your thing. But let's remember what happened with you, A-Rod. Let's remember something. Let's go back here. Let's remember some things about you.
Yep, and I'm gonna say, you know, maybe there's some jealousy there between him and Derek Jeter. Jeter owns the Marlins. Maybe he's trying to one up Jeter by putting in a bid for the Mets. If he, you know, the tweet said that he's thinking about it, so he hasn't actually put in a bid yet. But you're not gonna.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Jay. That's what annoys me. You're thinking about it. You keep your name out the pot. It's irrelevant. You're irrelevant at that point. You are thinking about, I'm going to stir something up and just keep my name in a spot. That's what you're doing. That's all you're doing, trying to keep attention on you. Bro, are you doing it or not? Yes or no? All right, no. So why are you sparking this? Because then when you don't do it, everyone's going to look at you and just call you out for just like, that's being fake. I'm going to say something and not go through it. Nah, bro, you just made 1 million people aware you're thinking about buying the Marlins. And in the moment we don't see any bid going on your end, you're like, oh, what happened? You can't afford it? What happened? You got scared? Everyone's going to start coming at you. Like, keep your name, like, out. I hate that.
You know, and my other thing with A-Rod putting in a bid for the Mets is who's going to be he's obviously going to have to get other investors involved because it was going for a couple of $2 billion with Steve Cohen. Now, I don't know if that price comes down now or it stays where it's at or what, you know, the Wilpons are thinking in regards to price, but he's obviously not going to sink his every last cent that he owns into the New York Mets to buy him. So he's going to need. So you can look at his net worth, but he's not expending all that net worth to, here's all my money in my life, I'm going to use it to buy that. No, that's not going to happen. No. You know, so he'll need to get other if he was to put in a bid, he would have to get other investors involved. And my point with that, with significant money, and my point with that, with A-Rod is who's ultimately going to be the control person? Like, where is the buck going to stop? It may be some of A-Rod's money, but if I'm another investor into this to buy the New York Mets, I want to have some say. Yeah, you know, so where is the buck ultimately going to stop if A-Rod is, you know, because like Alice was saying, you know, obviously A-Rod has a huge ego, you know, and everything. So A-Rod may want the buck to stop with him. But if I'm chiming in a few $100 million, you know, to purchase the New York Mets, I gotta have some say at the table, you know. So maybe A-Rod, you know, that's going to be the significant portion of this is how is A-Rod's going to have to solicit some other money. Who he's soliciting it from, how much of a say are they going to want in all this? So that's another thing that has to be worked out before any bid is put in to purchase the New York Mets, is he's got to get his own portfolio in line, you know, with other bidders and how much of a say they're going to have in the running of the New York Mets. Yeah. But we've been on the air for quite a while, and I know Alex wants to do his own show as well. So we are going to turn things over to Alex. We appreciate everybody tuning in or downloading us or viewing us at your discretion during the week. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Again, you can catch the three of us, I assume, Alex, this coming Sunday.
Yep.
On Fox Sports Radio 920 The Jersey, and, of course, SportsSkilletRadio.com. Feel free to comment on our social media channels. I'll get it out. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And also subscribe here to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our live stream every Friday morning. And until next Friday, have a good weekend, everybody. Be sure to tune into the XFL, and we'll be right back here again next Friday afternoon.
Thanks,
Have
Jay.
a great Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day.
Now say this out loud as you're driving around in your car.
Join Sports Skillet.
Just what it feels like.
So how do you like it?
So what is it? I'm curious.
You like it like this?
My God, do we love football.
Or like this?
I love the sport of baseball.
And what about this?
You can have a sports show without all the vicious talk. Simple human decency.
Whatever it is that you like.
Yeah, I like chaos.
We've got it covered.
Right?
It's sports the way you like it.
My friends, you may not know this. It's got everything you want.
Here we go. Local and national sports talk that's fresh, in season, and FDA approved. If it's hot, you'll find it cooking with Jeff, Jay, and Kelly. They don't just stir the pot, they add more flavor than the other guys. Get ready to dig in and taste some Sports Skillet.
Ooh, tastes good.